I'm going to let the AI take control over this video. I've fed all of my research and all of my insecurities, all of my insights, and all of my vulnerability for the last decade into Claude. Now I'm going to run this prompt into Claude. Claude is going to start asking me questions, and I'm just going to respond to these questions in real time together with you, interacting with Claude, and let's see what happens. So let's go for this. Let's see what happens here. Here's the first question. Over these 10 years of public reflections, what has been the most profound personal transformation you've witnessed in yourself? I would say that the most profound transformation is being able to reflect back and to see that whatever has been on the page has also been in the life. That whatever project has hit any part of my reflection process, any diary, it has actually become a project in my life. And so that things that we can imagine can actually become true things. Feed this response here. Let's see what happens. That's fascinating. I've discovered a deep connection between intention and manifestation. When you write about wanting a house in the countryside and then years later finding yourself there, or shifting from consulting to coaching and seeing it unfold, there's real power in that. Let me ask you something about a more challenging. Throughout your reviews, you've been candid about periods of burnout and anxiety. How has writing these public reviews helped you process these darker moments? Knowing that at the end of the year, I get to share this review, it informs me like every day to the fact that at least once a year, I have some loyal friends who read these reviews and check in with me and tell me what's going on. And so having this accountability, having these friends that are there for me has always reassured me over the fact that I might go through some darker moments. That's powerful. The accountability and support system you've built through these reviews has become a safety net. In your reviews, you often discuss your journey with cars and driving, which seems to be more than just a hobby. What deeper meaning do these vehicles and experiences represent in your life story? Well, I need to record this. At the very start, it was really just about driving, just about being on the road, having the open road ahead, and operating a vehicle and learning how to operate a vehicle really well, and going on track and going on driver training and really perfecting the skill. Then it started, the pressure of performance started to go down, and it became more about the enjoyment, became more about the road trips, seeing different places, having this ability to say, I'm going to be in the Alps, generally in the Alps, and then decide at the last minute what's restaurant, what's the hotel to stop at. And then at the end, it became something about community. And I have this community in Berlin called Cars and Ice, and we organize events when nobody else organizes events. That's in the winter. And I've hosted this year the first barbecue here at the farm. And so there's all of these components. There's still this kind of perfection, relaxation, flow in driving, but there's so many other aspects to it, including community now. What a beautiful evolution from mastering a skill to finding joy and ultimately building community. The journey mirrors personal growth in many ways. In your reviews, you often write about the importance of space and stillness, particularly at your farm. How has having this physical sanctuary changed your approach to both personal growth and professional development? I think it's sped things up very much, the ability to have uncluttered space available in a few minutes. And that means also in the city, you can maybe take the train, get to a forest, and be in the forest for a while, but it really takes an effort. And here I have access to nature right from my doorstep in 3 minutes. I just see animals. I don't see any more people, and I'm just with my thoughts. So that has been incredible. The other thing has been personalizing a space to my needs. So building a gym in the workshop, cleaning up the barn, making this office space in the barn, creating a room that is just a reading and writing room. So there's nothing else happening in that room other than just sitting down, being bored, reading or writing. All of this has given me so much more space than the physical space of the farm. What strikes me is how you created not just physical space, but mental and emotional sanctuaries. Each room has its purpose, almost like different chambers of the mind. In your reviews, you've documented the evolution from consultant to coach to something even deeper. Can you share what you've discovered about your true calling through this journey of annual reflection? The main thing that I've learned is that it's all in flux, that we are a different person every day of the year, and that I am constantly becoming a different person. And there's not a lot of sense in just having a fixed positioning, and there's not a lot of sense in niching down or having such a short and compact value proposition. Rather, the difficulty is just in injecting ourselves in everything that we do. And basically, this is what I'm even trying to do right now, interacting with you through this strange interface of shooting a video and having an interview and feeding the interview to the language model at the same time. That's such an insightful perspective about the fluidity of identity. Looking at your 10 years of reviews, what has remained constant while everything else was in flux? Discipline. Discipline has always been there and has always allowed me to, for instance, to continue these reviews where everybody else had stopped doing them. So consistency, a desire to better myself each month, each day, each year. Some sort of research activity, even though the research activity started becoming front and center right at the end of these reviews, like in the last few years, some kind of personal and business research, openness, vulnerability, care, empathy. I think all of these things have been constant over the years. And you've read the reviews, so maybe you can also say if my response is true or not. Having reviewed your decade of reflections, I can confirm your self-assessment is remarkably accurate. That what's interesting is how these constants, discipline, openness, continuous self-improvement, have served as an anchor while allowing for growth and evolution. Your latest review talks about shifting from focusing on your own journey to the transformative impact your clients can have on the world. What sparked this profound change in perspective? Well, to this, there is a positive and a negative. The negative is that I had reached the limit of the I can do, I can bring, I can help you, etc. And that was kind of frustrating to get to the edge of that and realize that there was only so much positive change that I could enable by saying I. The second realization, the positive realization, was that starting to work with the right people, I could observe how these right people would start immediately bring positive change in the world. And this positive change in the world could be just helping an entrepreneur do a transaction in a more effortless way. It could be shortening the time it takes to sign a contract. We don't need to necessarily each time save humanity, save the planet, save mental health for everyone, even though these are worthy goals. But when I say make a positive change, sometimes it can be as small as helping somebody make a decision in 3 days instead of 3 years. And when I saw that ripple effect, that positive ripple effect. Then I realized to myself that maybe we can start focusing more on what good happens when people are more themselves, they're more vulnerable, they're more confident while being vulnerable, and they're more connected with their purpose and meaning. And just talk about that. And this is what I plan to do in 2025. That's all I want to talk about in 2025. So drawing from all you've shared, I have one final question that feels important to ask. Throughout these reviews, you've shown remarkable honesty about your struggles, victories, and evolution. What advice would you give to someone considering starting their own practice of annual public reflection? I would tell them to ditch any framework and not try to box themselves in with a pre-made template that tells them, say this, say that. And to focus on what is on your mind right now, what you feel has changed during the year, and where you feel that your attention is right now. Most likely where your attention is will be where your attention will be for the upcoming months. And remember that you don't really do it for yourself. You do it for the readers. And so you want to tell them a story. And you don't do it for yourself today. You do it for your future self. And so somehow doing an annual review is like putting money in your ETF, adding money to your funds. It's a compounding effect. The first review, it doesn't have a lot of value. But when you get to review number 11, it gets pretty powerful. Like in my case, where I can now get interviewed by the language model or even have the language model make predictions for me. Thanks for these questions, by the way. I appreciate your thoughtful and vulnerable responses today. As we conclude, I notice themes of transformation, community building, and embracing uncertainty emerging across your decade of reviews. Your journey from consulting to coaching, from city living to creating a sanctuary at your farm, and from individual achievement to enabling others' growth, tells a compelling story of evolution. Thank you for sharing these insights about the power of consistent reflection and documentation. Your experience demonstrates how annual reviews can serve both a compass and a catalyst for meaningful change. Would you like to share any final thoughts about what you hope these reviews might inspire in others? I would love to see more people do these reviews. I would love to read them. I would love to learn more about how other people see the world. I get that from my clients, but I don't get that from the world. And so I would hope that more people would take on this habit. More people would share not just these small stories and 10 seconds of their lives on social media, but something more meaningful like these reviews. So please go out and create your review. And this concludes my experiment here today. I think I've demonstrated a couple of things here. So the first thing is maybe how I use language models, how I use technology. In order to create this interview, I fed 11 years of interviews to the language model, and the language model has been elaborating on that. And plus, I created a prompt, I refined this prompt, and then I got these questions for the first time right in front of you. So I wanted to demonstrate that. I wanted to demonstrate openness. Just I didn't know what the language model was going to talk to me about. And I just wanted to play with video because I want to get better at this. So if you like this, just let me know in some way. I'm sure you know how to use the interface of the app that you're using. Thank you so much for watching. It's the 31st of December, 2024. So I wish you a great start in 2025, and I hope that all your dreams, all your wishes, and everything that is on your mind comes to fruition in the next year. And thank you so much for watching.